Welcome to Sensible Secondhand Classics, a series where we look at nostalgic cars that are over 15 years old, which you could buy for a budget of between £1,000 and £5,000. This is a 1965 Hillman Super Minx Mark III that was originally registered in Geneva in Switzerland. But is it any good? Should you care? Let's find out, shall we? So the Hillman Super Minx was originally introduced in 1961 as like a companion model to this smaller normal Minx that at the same time went from the Series 3C to the Series 5. Now originally I think the Super Minx was designed to replace the Audax Minx, and I say Audax because my father was a classicist and that's how he used to say that word. Everyone else is Audax, but it's Audax apparently in Latin, which means brave or bold. So the Audax Minx had run from I think 57 or something like that, and looked very much like a lot of contemporary American cars at the time. No surprise, designed by Raymond Loewy, who I believe had a hand in the design of this as well. This engine in here is a 1.6 litre with 62 horsepower. Later cars from the Mark IV onwards got a 725cc engine with about 69 horsepower. If you're looking at the Humber Sceptre and Singer Vogue, they actually had a different engine. 1.6 was 80 horsepower, and then the 1.7 was 85 horsepower. So this particular type here, the Mark III, was introduced in 1964 and ran till 1965. So this has still got the 1.6 engine in it. Obviously the Mark IVs have the 1.7 engine. No servo brakes in this car. Obviously I'm having to change gear with my other hand. It doesn't really like going into first unless you're going very slowly. It has an all synchromesh gearbox in there, which I don't think necessarily all the the earlier ones had. But still, you've got to be a little bit careful with this. Mind you, it feels okay. It's very weird being on the wrong side of the car, as I found out recently when driving a 2017 Chevrolet Corvette that was only ever available in left-hand drive for that one. This one having had a life, living first in Switzerland, then Germany, and being stored in a barn from 1983 until recently, is just such an amazing survivor. I feel like sort of like a celebrity driving around this little Bedfordshire village in this car, because it's just so sort of unusual. I very much like the way the clutch is easy. The pedals are just generally quite easy. It's a very upright driving position, like a lot of things of the era, and actually the steering is reasonably light. It's not too heavy. I can actually get used to do this. If I had a right-hand drive Sceptre, and the Sceptres, they got a brake servo with all models, that would be a lot better for me, and being on the correct side of the car would be better as well. Never mind. I'm actually surprised, because even 0 to 60 is about 21 seconds in this car. It actually feels quite lively, although I won't be trying the bypass perhaps in this. We'll just be going slowly, and just reminding ourselves that we haven't got any servo brakes, so you know, we need to be careful. Everybody else will probably be a bit annoyed by the fact I'm going to drive slowly, but there's a reason for that. Goodness me, viewers, we survived the first bit of the test drive, and here we are having a little look at this Super Minx in more detail. It's 1,001 different colours, bits of filler are falling out of the door. We've got this set of Alley Cat wheels on it. We've got a weird Blue Motion technology badge on the back. This is not your average Super Minx by any stretch of the imagination. And yeah, on this side the door kind of needs sorting out. Remarkably though, this car is quite solid underneath. It was in a barn from 1983 until a couple of years ago, so you know that probably has saved it. But very, very sort of unusual thing for me to be driving. Originally registered in Switzerland, it then lived in Germany for a while. It was brought over here a few years ago. Boot is quite big on these. See if I can get the boot to open. There we go. Useful shelf up here for storing all kinds of things. Spare wheel is underneath the floor, although it's currently not installed on the car. If you wanted more space, you could get an Estate, which actually I think looks even better than these Mark III and Mark IV cars, in my opinion. If you wanted a car that kept the original roofline until 1967, I think it was, then the Humber Sceptre would be the one for you. Oh, better do that again. Ooh, number plate wobbles as well. So yeah, this roofline came in late 1964, I think it was, maybe September, for the Mark III. But the Sceptres kept that original roofline from 61 all the way till the end. I don't know why they decided to change it for the Vogue and the Super Minx and not for the Sceptre. There we go. The mirrors are, well, they're quite useless actually. I don't really find they do anything for me. They really don't do anything at all. So you've got to be careful when you're actually reversing one of these. But what a survivor car this is. We don't even know why this car is registered on a 1966 plate. It was made in 1965, or even actually maybe late 64, but it's known as a 65 on the logbook, so why it's wearing a 66 plate, nobody knows. Let's have a look in the back. Hope this is open. Yeah, it is. I think apparently there's child locks on these doors, so I'm going to be quite careful. Child lock, children apparently who smoke. We've got an ashtray in both of these doors. So this is the sort of more basic model of the three compared with the Vogue and the Sceptre. But it still seems very luxurious. There's loads of headroom in here. You've got to sit quite upright in here with your knees up there. But yeah, there's plenty of room in here. We've got lots and lots of glass area. So if you're reversing, you don't necessarily need to worry too much about the mirrors. Some of the carpets aren't fully installed in the car. It just shows actually how solid the floor is. There's no holes or anything in here. Oh yes, my old friend fixed seat belts. And that's what you get. That's it. That's what you get. I'm grateful that this car has them, but yeah, I don't like fixed seat belts, viewers. I do not like fixed seat belts at all. So yeah, we've got windy windows in the back. I'm going to leave the doors open because apparently it's got child locks. We get a rear armrest. No, we don't. We get this very nice kind of vinyl in here. I can't remember what route's called this actually. If you maybe had a Sceptre, you'd be getting some leather. But yeah, the bench seat, of course, such as the fashion. Must remember to get in the correct door because we're on the other side today. It feels like a very, very well-made car considering how old it is. I mean, it's approaching 60 years old, this car. Left-hand handbrake, it would be a right-hand handbrake on a right-hand drive car. This one's got a floor gear change. The Mark I's had a column change as far as I remember. This car's also fitted with the GPS speedometer because apparently this one overreads a bit, which it does. I can confirm it does overread. Also, this rev counter has been installed. Well, I think it's out of a like a Sceptre or something, because those had rev counters. The normal Super Mix did not. You're probably wondering what on earth is on the lower part of the dash, and the Mark IIIs, when they were introduced, did actually get a sort of wooden dash at the bottom. The earlier cars, the Mark 1s and 2s, have a like a painted metal dash, as you would have seen in the video that Mr. Richardson from Furious Driving has done on one of these a few years ago. But yeah, the lights are on here. Weird, we'll not be using those today. Sorry, the wipers, I do apologise. The wipers, one speed and it's on there. Lights are in the middle there. Heater control there, and then that's the position of the airflow. Roots group again there. The Roots badge is on the front of the car. We've got an oil pressure gauge, fuel gauge in the middle. We've got another oil pressure gauge here for some reason, and a water temperature gauge. Choke lever is there. I was told that we don't need too much of that, which is good. Just a 4-speed manual. I don't think we've got overdrive on this car. You could get overdrive in certain ones, and this car doesn't have it. Get in the glove box, viewers. Ooh. Yes, but I don't think my secret mission is going in. Instead, that's actually a bottle of additive, because this car is not converted yet to run on unleaded fuel. Got this sort of bar here. Maybe there's like a lower shelf missing from the dash, and you can see the carpet's missing as well. So this is definitely a project, isn't it? There need to be some things sorted off. And hello to Mr. Octopus. I hope you're having a nice day. Right. Yeah, indicator stalk here. It kind of sits somewhere in the middle. It's a very weird, sort of vague thing. It sits about there. It's very strange. No hazard warning lights, because it's, you know, before that sort of thing came on to common use. I suppose you'd better look under the bonnet. The release is just down there. So, bizarre self-supporting bonnet strut arrangement in here. So we've got a 1.6 litre engine in here, developing about 62 horsepower, this particular car. The Mark IV's got a 1725cc engine. This is just at a 1.6 litres. We've got a washer fluid bag, such as was common practice at the time. We haven't got a brake servo. The Humber Sceptre got one. This one, no. I'm not sure if the Mark IV's got one or not. This one does not have one. The brakes are all right. They are discs at the front. The Mark 1's had considerably worse brakes than this, so I'm grateful this is a Mark III. There's the Roots logo there, and we can see actually originally it came from Switzerland, and so we've got a little Swiss motif there as well. Looks really easy to work on actually. I think these are chain-driven engines. Obviously they probably leak oil like no one's business. The carburettor on here is really strange. Apparently the Euro spec ones of these had a different carburettor setup from the British ones, which is why it's Ticlami or something on there. I don't know. Somebody in the comment section let me know what that is. But yeah, it's just such a survivor car, this. It's had so much kind of done to it, where people have bashed it and filled it and painted it and that sort of thing, and yet it survives. And it's been in 3 different countries, and today I get to drive it, for which I'm very, very grateful. Anyway, let's close this enormously heavy bonnet. Oh, that made a noise. And let's go for another drive, shall we? So once you get used to the relative lack of power, the fact that I'm on the other side of the car, and people overtaking me in a 30-mile-an-hour zone for no reason, it's alright, this car. It certainly feels a lot more modern than 1965. I've driven things like a Morris Minor, and that feels absolutely ancient. The one I drove was first of all a 69 and then a 70. And there's so much more difficult to drive than this. Terrible brakes, no synchromesh on first, and a lot less power actually. This car has much more power than one of those, and you can feel it. For whatever reason, this driverless Audi has now decided that he's going to drive really slowly in front of me, having just overtaken me, which I'm not very happy about really. I'm not sure what I've done to cause that. It's life of Audi drivers, I suppose. It gives me a little more chance to, actually sort of assess what this car's like. And the ride is really compliant. The steering is nice. Actually, it's quite enjoyable, really. Enjoying it much more than I thought I'd be able to. I thought I'd want to get out of this immediately after having driven it a very short way, but actually it's okay. It's really pleasant. I can see why, you know, Roots decided that they were going to make really nice, sophisticated cars that fit sort of a cut above something like an Austin Cambridge, and this would have been sort of aimed at the sort of person who would have bought one of those. And actually, they were quite well known in other countries as well, like, well, presumably Switzerland. Lots of body roll, but you don't want to go too fast in this because it's a really, really old car and everything feels a bit loose. And actually, the left-hand drive cars like this one have a very weird steering linkage for the steering box. So the steering is vaguer than a very vague vlog, which is to say that very, very vague indeed. But yes, I'm actually enjoying this a lot more than I expected, and I'm very grateful to Richard and Brian for letting me have a go in this. It is strange being on this side, viewers. So the Mark I ran from 1961 to 62. The Mark II ran from 62 to 64, where you got better front brakes and some other changes. And in 1964, the Mark III came out, and it got the different roof line and a different dashboard. And the Mark IV came out in 1965, and when you got the 1725cc engine. And that lasted until 66 for the basic Super Minx like this, which was replaced by the Minx and the Hunter, the Arrow type. And then the Minx Estates, and I think the Scepter ran until 1967. The Mark I's had a Smith's Easy Drive automatic transmission, and the Mark II onwards with a Borg on a Type 35 like everything else. The 0 to 60 time of this car is it's like 21 seconds or something, and then the 1.7 is about 17 seconds. So viewers, should you consider a Hillman Super Minx for your hard-earned budget between £1,000 and £5,000 as a sensible second-hand classic? I'm not sure this left-hand drive example is the most sensible car I've ever seen. It's incredibly charming and everything like that, but yeah, it is just sort of crazy. I don't think I've driven anything quite like this before. It's surprisingly easy in some ways, because we've got no servo brakes, and the age of this car, which is one of the oldest cars I've ever driven in my life. But I think it's really charming. The sort of history that you can see with this is totally bonkers as well. And I'm very grateful to Richard and Ryan for letting me have a go in their pride and joy today. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some more reasonably priced nostalgic motoring.
Every day with